funny when you think about how an idea starts. For me, it was this one photograph. And what can I really say about Ansel Adams, you know? He inspired a lot of people. To be honest, it wasn't necessarily his photographs that were so meaningful to me. It was his drive and his sense of adventure. I used to watch these old videos of him loading camera after camera into these rigs he would have custom built. You know, he used this van to travel around the country and capture what we know today as some of the most iconic and stunning photographs of nature in the entire art form. And that way of life, the ability to be there with so little between you and your subject, that's the dream, right? That's what we're all after. And I wanted that too. I guess the original idea behind building out a van was so I could be closer to the places I love, with the people that I care about. I needed to build this thing from scratch, and it was pretty obvious I wasn't going to do it myself.
My name's Chris Burkard, and this is Scotty Nelson from Adventures. And basically, 6 months ago, I came to Scotty with sort of this project.
I looked for months. I mean, out in the Midwest, I finally found her. A 2006 Sprinter, diesel, low miles, plenty of headroom and space. Perfect place to start. The goal in the beginning was simple: make the ultimate photography travel vehicle, or something close to it, somewhat within my budget.
You lift this guy up, and you have this awesome little storage unit in here. You know, I have a duffel full of clothes, just tripods, you know, laptops, like a bunch of storage in there. Locking drawer, it's currently overstuffed. I love this rack. The thing is aerodynamic, super sleek, and it literally swallows gear. It has to be able to have like water and power and solar. Yeah, my goals are a 1250 Yeti, and also another backup battery that's charging. 2 Boulder 90 solar panels. These are literally built-in flush. Van life isn't always stinky. You don't have to be stinky. You can actually shower. I've got a portable shower unit, a pumpable, awesome little shower. So we've put these Polk audio speakers in here. Water can go on them, it's not gonna really ruin them. This light bar
lights up the night sky.
It's insane, like it lights up everything. Kamek makes this big rad red camping quilt. What we ended up doing was we ended up making this kind of complex, like Jenga puzzle of a bed, and it works super well.
You're gonna lock yourself in there. This is like a scene from like MTV Cribs, but with vans.
By the time we were done, you know, I had this sort of home on wheels. It was beyond what I expected, a figurative passport to take me to the places that I loved without having to leave a thing behind. It was much more than just being mobile and inspired by the enormity of what's around me. It was always about the passenger, those you take along for the ride. And who greater to share it with than those closest to you?
What are the top 3 reasons you love gummy bears?
Number 1, sustenance. Number 2, make me feel good. And I think number 3, they're fun to share.
I can vividly remember my first road trip. I spent these 2 weeks in a van driving from California to New Mexico with my grandpa. He was so determined to share these places with me. Every stop, he'd get out of the car and start giving me this history lesson on the first people that lived there, the rock formations, and how it all came to be. You know, to him, these places, they were sacred. Sadly, at the time, I don't think I cared very much. I tried to appreciate it, but I couldn't. I was just a kid who had literally never left California. And to all of a sudden realize that the world was so big was kind of overwhelming. I think he knew more than anyone else that I needed it. Growing up without a dad left a lot to be experienced. We took this trip every summer, starting in the Sierras all the way down to New Mexico. I've realized that those trips may have been some of the most important in my entire life. Without even really knowing it, he had instilled these values about appreciating the natural world. I don't think I've ever actually taken the time to say thank you, but I know he looks at what I'm doing now, and he knows that guidance was, it was everything. Trying to make a living as an artist over the last decade has taught me one pretty valuable lesson. No amount of money is ever going to make the job worth it.
Time to get naked.
Man, it's so
More than anything else, the reason I do what I do is so that I can share this work with those around me. The people that I love, starting with my family.
Yeah.
Oops, get that for me.
We won't say, hey, will you sit up right here?
I'll go get that.
Got you.
For me, the single hardest thing I have to do for work is to leave them behind. Especially when you're in a place experiencing something incredible or somewhat life-changing, and all of a sudden you realize that a big part of you isn't there. Nobody prepares you for that. I guess it's a big part of why I built this. It was never just for me.
Guys and stuff like that, right?
But to be able to explore these places I love and have a vehicle to share with my wife and kids a different kind of life. A different way to walk the earth.
Perfect for Chris. Literally. Do you know how much use all his little secret compartments are gonna get?
The same way that my grandfather shared his ideas with me. There's a huge world out there worth exploring. I remember when I was a kid, it's not always something you're going to appreciate right away. But that's okay. An idea has to start somewhere. Right?